This is the new Audi RS5, 4.2 litre V8, 444 brake horsepower, £57,480. It's fitted with a new four-wheel drive system that should increase agility and keep the legendary Quattro stability. It might just combine M3 quality with GTR rivaling all-weather pace. If it can do that, Audi will definitely have a new hero on its hands.
Okay, so the first thing you have to contend with when you get in the RS5 is the drive select system. This is a highly configurable car, lots of different things you can play with, and to be honest, I'm sure you can get lost in the systems for hours. Fortunately, there are pre-programmed settings. We've got comfort, auto and dynamic. They control all the characteristics of the car, from the engine to the steering, even to the sport differential in the back, and of course the 7-speed DSG box. I think for now we'll leave it on dynamic. That way we've got the best throttle response, the best response from the gearbox, and the sport diff should make the car feel more agile, hopefully a bit more rear driven than we're used to in Audis of late. So we'll try that one, and then later on we might tweak into the individual, because from past experience I know dynamic can often make the steering feel really stodgy, but what you can do with the individual setting is have all the engine ramped up, the sport diff ramped up, but have it on comfort steering so you get slightly lighter, more natural feeling steering. We'll start off in dynamic, see how it goes. First thing that strikes you about the RS5 isn't really the performance actually, it's the refinement. It feels beautifully built as you expect. The DSG gearbox, S-tronic, sorry, in Audi talk, is super smooth, super seamless. I mean, it's unbelievable really. And what it does when you're just bimbling along is makes the car feel just as usable as an everyday A4 or even an S-Class really. The ride's actually pretty good as well. In dynamic mode there are a couple of problems, mainly centred on the gearbox really. It automatically selects sport for the 7-speed box, and what that does is make you feel like you're on some sort of qualifying lap. It wants to hang on to every last rev, downshifts every time you brake to go into a corner, makes the thing feel manic, which is sort of at odds with the rest of the refinement that's going on. It's better just to move the gear lever over to the right, that puts it in manual mode. Now the paddles are active and you can do it yourself. It's intuitive, easy, gives you more control. You can use the torque of the engine as well as the crazy power at the top end. It just feels much more usable in that way. The engine itself, the V8, is creamy smooth. It revs to like 8,500 RPM, but there's not even a trace of harshness in it. It's absolutely sweet. But the new S-tronic box adds a new element to it. What it means is you can be at the perfect revs all the time, never have to take your hands off the wheel. It's a really shortcut to much more performance effectively. It makes the RS5 an unbelievably fast ground coverer. Cross-country pace is one thing though, enjoyment is another, and this is where Audis have fallen down in the past. Hopefully this will be a different thing altogether. This thing's got all the kit, should do the business. We found a brilliant empty road in Spain. Let's find out if it can really match something as exciting as the M3. You can hear the engine spinning up, revs to well over 8,000. It's quite hard to keep it up there, to be honest, especially if you're used to the turbocharged engines, for example, in the the supercharged engine in the S4. You have to work a bit harder to get the performance out of this car. And you can just hear how often you can use all the power. Look at this, second gear corner, it's slightly damp, full power, and it just drives out. The sport diff just sends the rear of the car, not sliding so much, but it sends the rear of the car outwards to keep the understeer at bay. And it works really well. This car does not understeer like Audis of old. Better than an RS4 in that respect, definitely. But if you're an M3 fan, it doesn't much oversteer either. Wet corner, second gear, full throttle, and it just drives out. It's unbelievable. But listen to how often I can stay on the throttle. You can just use the power all the time. It really does cover ground. at an amazing pace, this thing. I just don't think on the road you'd really find any understeer, any oversteer.
So what to make of this RS5? It's a mighty effective tool, secure, stable, much less prone to understeer than previous fast Audis. But is it an M3 beater, a GTR with Audi feel-good quality? Not really. Can't match the M3's agility or excitement, and it is nowhere near as fast as the GTR. It's a refined GT car this, with a serious turn of speed and fail-safe handling. For some people that'll be reason to celebrate, but I can't help feeling that the RS badge should be reserved for cars that step a little bit further out of Audi's comfort zone.